Hello folks, what is up? It is I, Will, with Exposing the IWC. And this will probably be a shorter stream because there's really only one thing I wanted to talk about. Well, a couple of things, but they're kind of all linked together. You'll see that in a second. But yeah, it should be interesting because we'll see how you guys take this stream. It'll be interesting. We're going to talk about AJ Lee, talk about the WrestlePalooza build and how the internet is reacting. So we'll actually be doing some actual exposing of the IWC. That's the name of this damn channel, and we'll be doing that. Crazy enough, right? Do me a favor, hit like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and let's talk about the news that's breaking. Now, I didn't need any dirt sheets to tell me this because it's pretty obvious, but guess what? AJ Lee is set to return at WrestlePalooza. Now, this is pretty clear considering what we've gotten the last couple of days. So we had the situation where Becky Lynch shows up and gives CM Punk the low blow, leading to the Seth Rollins win at Clash in Paris. We then had CM Punk walking up the ramp, seeing a sign in the crowd that happened to have AJ Lee's name on it. He draws attention to it. Now, okay, put that in the notebook. That's one little indicator there. They were referencing AJ Lee during the post show, Big E and company. And then on Raw last night, we had a segment between Becky Lynch and CM Punk where Becky Lynch is berating him, slapping the hell out of him. And of course, good guy CM Punk is not going to strike Becky Lynch. But what does he say? You're going to regret putting your hands on me, i.e. my significant other who can put their hands on you will have a problem with that, right? It was clear they were drawing, all the lines are being drawn to one conclusion, okay? That AJ Lee is actually going to show up here. They even went as far as to say, hey, what's happening at Smackdown? This is CM Punk backstage with Adam Pearce. Talk about how it's going to be in Chicago. That's where Smackdown is. Okay, interesting. Now, CM Punk and AJ Lee don't actually live in Chicago, but in kayfabe, that's his hometown. That's kind of where he lives in kayfabe. So it makes sense for that to be the place where she shows up. Now, I believe that they're kind of doing this kind of quickly here because they want to make sure the card is set, get people hyped. So I think AJ Lee will show up here on Friday in Chicago on SmackDown, which is going to be kind of crazy. More than crazy, because I spent a lot of time mocking folks over the years for their constant AJ Lee speculation. Oh, she's going to show up here. She's going to show up here. She's going to return here. Royal Rumble. Can't wait to see AJ Lee. The 30th entry will be AJ Lee. Mocking and laughing at these folks saying, guys, it's not happening because the evidence wasn't there. There's no real evidence. This time it's pretty clear. I mean, I didn't need Fightful report here to tell me that she's showing up. It's obvious based on how they're laying the story here. If she wasn't showing up, it'd be a colossal error and it just wouldn't make any sense based on the build here. They were leaning into it. They were really leaning into it this time. So it was clear it was going to happen. So folks, it's happening. How do you feel about it? Are you excited? Because I know after the first wave of excitement, you're going to hear AJ Lee wasn't that good. She isn't that important. Big whoop. It's the internet. You know how it's going to work. They'll be saying she sucks here in the future, right? Within the next few weeks, they'll be saying she sucks, right? And she was never that good, right? Regardless whether she's good or not, this is huge for WrestlePalooza. It's big for WWE. The pop will be immense. This is a big story. And again, it's all about grabbing headlines and buzz and controlling the narrative of the wrestling community online. This is what I've been trying to tell folks for so long, especially those hard-headed folks that don't understand, who simply do not understand what the WWE is doing. Okay, which is what my tweet was about earlier today. So I put out this tweet earlier in reference to WWE in their strategy when it comes to AEW. This is what I said. Those of you who don't follow me. So, many people on this app simply do not understand what's happening here. The WWE is not trying to win the cage match rating wars. That shit is worthless. And if you care about that, I feel sorry for you. I really do. I truly do, by the way. They're also not trying to get diehard AEW fans to watch WWE. It's about buzz, attention, and headlines. There is nothing Tony Khan can do to win that war, going up against a main roster PLE and ESPN. Hot-shotting big matches to compete to make some online fans feel better, may make some online fans feel better, but ultimately, it doesn't address the actual issue. Tony Khan should absolutely not react to this whole fight back narrative, okay? So, WWE are stacking the deck, right? For ESPN, mostly. It's mostly about ESPN, not really about All Out, really. It's mostly about, this is the first show for ESPN, and we have to, pull out the big guns and make it a stat card, right? With all things, multiple things can be true. Like a big pie, okay? How much slice of the pie is for ESPN versus counter-programming AEW? There's a lot of people who want to believe that, it's all about counter-programming this card. No, it's about ESPN, really. That's the biggest chunk of the pie. And that's completely fine. Now, if you're somebody who is a fan of both promotions, then I understand it. Hey, I want to watch both live. I don't like watching wrestling when there's already spoilers out there, and I like to enjoy it with the way it's supposed to be enjoyed live. I get that. Some people, believe it or not, don't like watching live content after the fact because you know the result and it takes something out of it if you got spoiled. I understand that. Like if you're a fan of both WWE and AEW, I get it. If you're upset about this whole kind of programming thing, I understand it. If you're a WWE fan who doesn't watch AEW, who cares? If you're an AEW fan who doesn't watch WWE, who cares? Now you could say, well, I'm invested in a company because I want my company to do well and I want to support AEW. I want them to grow. That's all fine. But guess what? Tony Khan is a billionaire. AEW ain't going nowhere. I repeat, Tony Khan is a billionaire. AEW ain't going nowhere. Okay? So it's going to be fine, regardless, okay? Regardless of this whole counter-programming thing, he's a billionaire. He's worth billions. He'll be fine. Or his father is. Regardless, he'll be all right, okay? So they don't need to react to this because, well, let's stay on AJ Lee. I don't want to move off of AJ Lee too much, but yeah, this is huge, right? It's smart to bring her back in this manner, right? Because All Out is cooked. It's smart to bring her back in this manner. It's a tag match. You can protect her in the match. She's working with her husband. Becky Lynch is a great worker, right? It's great. This is the perfect spot to bring her back. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm looking forward to the segments. I'm looking forward to her promos. I really am. I might have went overboard. I have someone holding 35 belts in universe mode. Yeah, we'll dive more into AEW and this whole thing. I kind of went too far into that. I want to focus on AJ Lee for a second. And then I'll move on to that whole debate about AEW versus WWE. But yeah, I believe the only reason why, because people are talking about Becky Lynch and how Becky Lynch is now in the Vision. I believe the only reason why that happened is to facilitate this match. Truly, not to say that the Vision doesn't need a woman or they can't have Becky Lynch in there, but I believe the number one factor for why they have Becky Lynch kind of with the Vision a little bit now, the number one reason is to facilitate this mixed tag match. What happens after that, I don't know, but I believe they've had Becky Lynch interfere in that match. They had Becky Lynch work with Seth and work against CM Punk because of this match. That's why it's happening. That's why Becky Lynch is in the Vision. What happens going forward, we don't know. But for right now, that's why it happened. Okay? So, in hindsight, folks who are upset about Becky Lynch showing up, should sound and feel silly right now because it's all about AJ Lee. Now with this confirmation from Fightful, well, not really confirmation, it's kind of obvious. That's what we're getting. And I believe Becky Lynch will take care of her. CM Punk, Seth in the ring. It'll be a very, very good spot for her. What happens after that, I don't know. Now, as far as AJ Lee on Raw or popping up on other shows before the big match, check this out. You can see a scenario where AJ Lee shows up on Raw. I'm going to book this thing. I'm going to book it right now. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. AJ Lee will come to Raw, get in the ring, cut a promo, calling out Becky Lynch, and Becky won't come out. It'll be Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Raquel will confront AJ Lee. Roxanne will talk about how she looked up to her and how she was a hero, but now she hates her and she sucks and CM Punk sucks. Then AJ Lee will say something back to Roxanne. That'll piss off Roxanne. Roxanne will attack AJ Lee, and Raquel will jump in. Be 2-on-1. You know what you're going to hear after that? Do you know what you're going to get after that? This is my brutality! And Rhea Ripley will run down there to make the save. Book it. Write it down. What's today's date? September 2nd. On September 2nd, Will said that there'd be a segment where AJ Lee's in that ring, Roxanne and Raquel will come down there, and AJ Lee will make the save. Not AJ Lee, but Rhea Ripley will make the save. Book it. That is happening on Raw. Which Raw? I don't know. Maybe it's the 8th or the 15th or whatever. Segment between Roxanne, Raquel, AJ Lee, and Rhea Ripley making a save will happen. All right. I'm telling you right now. She's gonna call out Becky Lynch. She won't come out there. It'll be Roxanne. I'm telling you. It's gonna happen. You heard it here first. That segment is happening. AJ versus Nia, AJ versus Ivy Nile. I don't know how many matches you're gonna get. You may just get one. You may just get AJ and CM Punk versus Becky and Seth. That might be it. But I'm telling you, that segment is happening on Raw. They're gonna do Roxanne, AJ Lee in a segment. Maybe not a match, but that segment is happening in the ring. After CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky, should AJ win the IC title? Let's hold our horses. I'm not convinced it'll be more than one match. It may just be a one-off. So let's not say, oh, AJ is going to be back similar to Nikki Bella and have a little bit of a run. I don't know that for a fact. It may just be a one-off. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I think it'll be a very, 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 very fun match and a very fun spot to see AJ Lee return. And to all the stands out there who've been hoping and begging and wishing she's gonna return, well, congratulations, it's happening. It's official. Thoughts? Bianca could carry AJ to a great match. Sure. Here's the thing, folks. You're gonna hear a lot of commentary about her in-ring. Who cares? Okay. It's gonna be a moment. It's going to be a moment. That's how Triple H books for the moment. It's going to be a moment. You're going to have her fun spots. She's going to have that hot tag. You know, she knows she's going to have that hot tag. It'll be a good spot for her. A cool moment. Yeah, let's talk WrestlePalooza now, okay? So, my opinion, looking like it's going to be John Cena, Brock, Drew, Cody, Io, Stephanie, which we'll talk about that in a second. CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Seth, Becky, and I think we're going to get the Usos versus the Brawns. By the Brawns, I mean Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Now let's focus on guys for care. This kind of brought about a different discussion online, which is what I'm going to get to when it comes to AEW and WWE. Let's see. Let me scroll. Find the freaking image you want to show. There we go. I'll use this. Boom. So it's official, right? Official. Io, Stephanie at WrestlePalooza. So two of the best in the world going at it on the biggest stage. I do believe they're going to go all out. They're going to go all out for WrestlePalooza on ESPN. And this is the title match they decided to go with. Can't go wrong with these two talent, right? Now, when this was announced, the IWC had an interesting reaction, especially when it comes to the AEW fans. Because at that point, they decided, you know what? Tony Khan needs to fight back. Tony Khan needs to book another match to compete with this. But this is one of the big matches that the in-ring cannot be denied. So we have to combat this, challenge this, book Athena versus Mercedes Moné, book a women's blood and guts match. We got to compete with this. Let's fight. What I heard from the IWC. So much so that they were fantasy booking Marie against Mercedes and a bunch of nonsense, like stuff that could not even happen. Hey, Tony Khan, call up Sari, call up Sayo Kamatani. It's all like embarrassing stuff that I was seeing on there because we all know that stuff's not going to happen. So let's go back to the conversation about AEW and WWE. It is a mistake for Tony Khan to book his show to challenge this show when it comes to in-ring. It's pointless. AEW has great pay-per-views. Okay, that's not going to change anytime soon. Stick to what your plan was originally. Don't let the fans gas you up to hot shot matches that you're never going to do in the first place. Stick to the plan, because ultimately, what the WWE is doing will not be affected by cage match ratings or the sickos online having an opinion on which show is better. It doesn't matter. That's not the goal of the Fed, as they call them, okay? WWE is trying to win the weekend in terms of buzz, headlines, and relevance, okay? They're trying to dominate the narratives. That's what they're trying to do, okay? It's not about competing from an in-ring standpoint. It's pointless. That doesn't, what cage match rating says, or God forbid, Dave Meltzer's ratings, has nothing to do with dollars and cents. They're trying to flood the weekend and dominate the headlines. And there's nothing Tony Khan can do to stop that. There's nothing. They have ESPN. They have the worldwide leader. They have the biggest company in wrestling. There's no point of trying to combat that. If you try to put together a card that will be better in ring, that's not going to matter, because that's not the goal the WWE is trying to do. That's not what they're trying to do. So this whole, let's put Sari on the card, or let's book Okada, let's book Omega versus whoever, Hangman. If that's a plan originally, then do that, sure. But if you think that's going to make a dent to what the WWE is trying to do, it's pointless. It's a pointless act, okay? There's nothing he can do to grab the headlines. There's nothing he can do. What AEW is trying to do is grow, okay? It's not about pay-per-view vibes right now. It's not about pay-per-view. It's about growing the promotion. And they need to have buzz, and that's how you grow. Buzz, you have people talking. That's what you need. You need to be relevant. And what the WWE is doing is booking against them and saying, no, we're going to crush your buzz. We're going to crush the excitement. We're going to crush the attention you're getting time and time again. And that's what they're doing. So what can Tony Khan actually do? Nothing. Or I saw some person made this suggestion. Some person made this suggestion about they should move all out. Now, I'm not saying they should do that, but that actually addresses the problem. That's actually a solution to the problem. Like, people are saying, "Oh, that's stupid. I'm gonna watch AEW." They don't care about the sickos. They don't care about the diehard AEW fans. Okay, it's not the point. So yeah, the solution to the problem would be to move all out. Okay, I'm not saying they should do that. I'm not saying they should, but that's an actual solution to the problem I'm bringing up here. The dominating the headlines, grabbing the buzz and attention. The way to do that or combat that is to move all out. Again, I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying they should do it, but that actually is a solution. So people who are getting on that dude, I forgot who it was who said that. Somebody online said they should move all out. And people give him shit. They're giving him a whole bunch of shit. But I'm like, that's the actual solution to the problem. That would actually work. Okay, what he should do probably, honestly, do nothing. Book how you usually book. Put on a good show. Get your pay-per-view buys. Get your pay-per-view. The buys you usually get. That's fine. And just keep it pushing. Do not react. Do not overreact. Because if you do, I think you're just going to be shotting a bunch of matches that you could use later on. Okay, you already burned through Athena versus, for example, let's use the women's division. Let's use the women's division as an example. Already burned through Tony versus Mercedes. You've done Mercedes versus Athena. Okay, you've done those already. Okay, so what are you going to do now? Just let it go. Don't react. Just keep it moving. Do your show, and that's that. Okay? Tiffany versus Jade at WrestlePalooza? Sure. If Io is wrestling, nothing else matters. Roxanne states on Raw yesterday that she wants in the women's world title match. Adam Pearce says no. However, he'll think about if Io wins. However, what happens if Stephanie wins? I don't think Stephanie's winning. Triple threat for every belt at All Out. Yeah, hot shotting, which doesn't matter. It's just stupid to do that. Like, no matter what you do, folks will be talking about Brock, John, AJ Lee returning, Io, Stephanie, because they have the platform and ESPN. So wasting your time trying to combat that or challenge that or compete is just stupid. Book how you usually will book your show, and ignore what the WWE is doing. Or move the show. Or move it. But, because that's the only real solution to the problem. It's the only thing. So, does that make sense? Am I off? Does that make sense to y'all? Am I crazy? There's nothing they can do. So why overreact? Why jump the gun on a match or a storyline? Just book how you usually will book and keep it moving. Io is the real ace of this promotion. At this point, for the women's division, you're not wrong. Thank you, Maria. AW needs to go for R ratings and cater to adults. Does that grow? They want to be a 4-quadrant company, right? You need the kids. Kids bring the money. Kids bring the money and the growth. So to box out the kids may not be the best approach. But hey, I don't know what their goals are. I don't know their ultimate goal. You would think a company wants to make money. So Xing out the kids doesn't make much sense to me, but reason why the WWE are not R-rated, because they want the kids. Because kids bring the money. Families bring money. It's not just WWE. It's blockbusters in Hollywood, right? The 4-quadrant movies. What are the most money-making movies this year? What's been the top of the box office this year? Let's see. It's been Minecraft, kids. Been other Pixar animation stuff, right? The kids bring the money. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. 2025 box office leaders. See how many R-rated movies are leading the box office. Number 1, Minecraft. Number 2, Lilo and Stitch. Number 3, Superman. Okay, those are 4-quadrant movies. Those appeal to families and kids. You want the money, you have to appeal to all four quadrants. You can't just say, oh, we're going to R-rated, we're going to be adults. Nah. Okay. You have to get the kids. If you want the big bucks. Now, if you don't want the big bucks, then okay. Go R-rated. Right, Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. Lilo and freaking Stitch live action made $1 billion. Why? Family, kids, repeat viewing from the kids. So, Con, just don't react to the sickos. It's going to be very, very, hard for you to do that. I understand that. But ignore the sickos. Ignore your fan base telling you to book this and book that. Just accept the situation. Or, too late to move it. But a strategy they could do, if they announce their shows in advance, and if WWE tried to counter program, you can just move it. I seriously doubt they'll move it again. Like, they won't move to, once the WWE picks a date, they're not going to move it if AEW moves their date. That's what they should probably do to avoid this issue. Now, if they don't care about the issue, then keep doing it. Don't worry about it. I'm not saying they should, but it's the only real way to address the issue. Right? It's the only real way. But that card, looking pretty good. CM Punk, AJ versus Rollins and Becky Lynch, Cena and Brock Lesnar, Io, Stephanie, Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Strong card. Cody maybe be facing Drew. Strong stuff. Oh, congratulations, Pedro, on your nephew being born. Congratulations. Danielson versus Hangman. Who you got winning? Io versus Steph? Io. I think Io wins. What are my predictions for the matches on NXT tonight? Beyond Lash versus Jada Parker. I want Lash to win. I have no confidence in that, so I'm going to go Jada Parker. And I don't know the other matches. I really don't. But yeah, man, it's happening, folks. It's actually happening. You're going to get AJ Lee in the ring at WrestlePalooza. Big show happening. Now, will there be another women's match? I'm not sure. I don't know what's happening with Tiffany and Jade. I think on Friday we'll find out something. When it comes to Tiffany and Jade, we'll see. Would I put Tiffany and Jade on that card? Nah, probably not. To be completely honest with you, I wouldn't do it. But it's very possible. But I wouldn't go that route. I just wouldn't do it. But that's just me. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a speed match between Candice and Xia Brookside tonight. No clue who's winning that. The part of me that wants Xia to win, but who knows? Who knows? You're gonna get a better match out of Candice LeRae if she moves on. No offense to Xia Brookside, but she's not the best in the ring. She's not the best. She's all right, but not the best. You know? WrestlePalooza is going to be big, so I don't care if Stephanie wins there. Who would... Michin versus... Where would you do Michin versus Julia? Not at WrestlePalooza. Not at WrestlePalooza, I wouldn't do that. It get overshadowed. It would get overshadowed. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. It'll probably end up on Smackdown. Scroll up? No. Man, I hope Io gets that Margot match this year. It's happening. No worries. Candice was a former speed champion. She was. He was. Yeah, I don't know how they handle that. Do you have Zaya Brookside advancing? WWE is fumbling Julia. Well, she's champion. Is her booking good? No. We'll see. Right now, I don't love her booking, but I wouldn't say they're fumbling the talent. They may be fumbling the reign, but Julia will be fine long term. Problem is she's on Smackdown. That's a problem. Smackdown is a rough show right now. Raw, as you can see, Raw is cooking with Asuka. Let's talk about Asuka real quick. She's all over the show. She's had, what, 5 or 6 segments? Doing good character work. Funny stuff with her and Kairi Sane. Interesting stuff with her and EO. Confronting Rhea Ripley. It's been a lot of fun to see Asuka in that light. To see her getting pushed almost like a top heel role right now. Kind of awesome. She's funny. She's great. She had charisma. It's great to see. And she's challenging Rhea Ripley to her face, showing no fear. I like that match happening. I want to see that and how that unfolds. I think you're gonna get the Kabuki Warriors against Charlotte and Alexa here soon. A lot of interesting developments coming up here with Asuka. I'm happy they're giving her something. It's really cool to see. Yeah, the joke sheets are all over the show. Like, literally. If I'm Julia, I'm upset. Like, why am I on a SmackDown? Why am I here? Get me to Raw. Yeah, it's clear and obvious that there is a different creative team working on Raw and SmackDown. Clear as a bell. You can't convince me otherwise. So, I will want my fave or my favorite talents on Raw to get better stuff. Because there's no excuse for the stuff we're getting on SmackDown with Tiffany and Jade and Julia, and even the men's tag division isn't the best. It's not the best. Happening with Solo and his crew is not the best. Really, really unfortunate what's happening on SmackDown. Asuka versus Io Sky is going to be amazing. I agree. I kind of think Stephanie has to lose. Because it'd be too weird to have her win without a storyline, without real build-up. It'd be a mistake. I've said this time and time again. Go ahead, put the belt back on Io. And I didn't realize how close the Perth show is to WrestlePalooza. I didn't realize that. Like 3 weeks, right? Something like that. Yeah. October the 11th. Maybe that's where you do Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. No? I mean, we all assume that Rhea Ripley would have a title match, but what if it's not a title match? What if it's just Asuka versus Rhea Ripley right there? I don't know anymore what's happening, and it's kind of fun to not know what's happening, to not know what's coming. But yeah, I could see a number of different matches there with Rhea Ripley. It would be weird, not shocking, but kind of weird to have Io beat Stephanie at WrestlePalooza and 3 weeks later lose the belt to Rhea Ripley, unless you had some ultimate goal or some ultimate storyline that needed Rhea Ripley to be champion. But it feels kind of weird, right? Like real whiplash, for that to happen. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of options. But well, yeah, it's crazy because all this pivoting, because that's what it is, right? A bunch of pivoting with Naomi being out, a lot of pivots, so it can go either way. Wow. My question is, assuming AJ Lee is gone, let's say she shows up, has a match, and goes away. Who is competing with Becky? I thought it'd be Stephanie. Because Bayley is set to have a storyline with Lyra. That's still happening. The Bayley Lyra stuff, that's still going on. Becky gonna be away from Nikki Bella. Well, that's not true because we had Io say backstage before Asuka interrupted in a funny way. Io said to Nikki, "I hope you get another shot at Becky." So, are they continuing the Nikki Bella Becky stuff? How's that gonna work with AJ Lee comes into play? Everything's up in the air right now. It's all open. It's all open. We don't know what's happening. Bayley Lyra, that storyline. Harry Becky? Harry's very much in the Asuka Io stuff. She's not your friend. Hilarious. Hilarious. People are so shocked. They can't believe it's actually happening. They can't believe it's actually happening. AJ Lee is coming back. Going down. Unbelievable. They're shocked online. I'm looking at the tweets. They're all flabbergasted. They can't believe it. Again, AEW should not overreact. All right, question time. I said this would be a short stream, so next 20 minutes, all questions. The way Asuka was saying Kyrie name the whole time was hilarious. It really was. It was great. Can you imagine AJ Lee in War Games? Becky and Seth are kind of in the same spot with their title reigns. They're kind of running through people and running out of options. Well, Seth is with Punk, so that story's not ending anytime soon. That story might go all the way to Mania, so that's his story. Becky, on the other hand, I think Stephanie's right there. Stephanie is right there. Assuming she loses to Io. That's my storyline, Stephanie, but we'll see. Stephanie and Io need more segments. I agree. Right now, it's all about aura and in-ring. There's no actual build there, but I think they'll be in the ring together next week, right? So they'll be face-to-face next week, so we'll see how that goes. Stephanie has lost some momentum. Yes, I believe so, which is why she shouldn't win the belt. They should build her up again. I would use Becky Lynch to do it. Who is Lyra facing next week? Either Raquel or Roxanne. I'd go with Roxanne, but that's just me. Maybe Lyra will make the save. Maybe Lyra. I'm already fantasy booking that AJ Lee stuff. Maybe AJ Lee gets attacked by Roxanne and Lyra makes a save. The thing about it is Lyra has a storyline already. Lyra is set to be with Bayley, I believe, so we'll see how that goes. Becky not putting over Stephanie? Why not? Yeah, Roxanne will be like, he'll be fine because they'll probably have a meet backstage. So you'll get all the hugs and all the crying out of the way, and then she'll be fine for the actual in-ring stuff. So, but yeah, I do believe we'll see AJ and Roxanne on TV at the same time, at some point. Are they going to do Charlotte and Alexa versus Lyra and Bayley? I'm not sure about that one. Alexa and Charlotte versus the Kabuki Warriors? Yes. Alexa and Charlotte versus Roxanne and Raquel? Yes. Lyra and Bayley? I don't know about that one. Assuming Io becomes champion, the only person I can see beating her is Bayley. What about Rhea Ripley? I've seen more Michin. That's true. They both had backstage segments, Stephanie and Michin. But Michin has gotten more substance, more words, more dialogue than Stephanie for sure. Um, again, we all know Stephanie was going to lose to Naomi. We don't know what the original plan was. We don't know what they're going to do with Stephanie after that. I would have done Becky, but that's just me. Heel Bailey versus AJ will do something. We don't know how long AJ stand around. Will AJ be there for a one match, or will she hang around? I don't know. And Michin does a good job. Michin knows how to use them. Yeah, she does a good job backstage. She utilizes her time. I will say that. Gets it across. She gets her point across every time. She's doing all she can. So I'm not going to complain about her stuff right now. You know? She's making the best of it. She really is. $20. What you guys got? Pre-announcing and spoiling huge returns is the lamest thing about modern day wrestling. I get it. I get it, my guy. But it was kind of obvious based on the booking here. I thought it was pretty clear and obvious she's showing up on Friday, but that's just me, maybe. That was pretty clear, pretty obvious. Stephanie went from 200K followers to 1.5 in a span of a year. Not surprised by that one bit. King Tristan thinks that Bianca Belair will show up on ESPN to confront the winner. They're saying we're going to get Jade versus Tiffany at WrestlePalooza. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked by that. Bianca confronting Jade doesn't track for me. That doesn't ring true. Bianca confronting Tiffany does. The last time we saw Bianca Belair, she was literally holding up Jade's hand when she was the special guest referee at Evolution. I don't buy that as a first interaction with her and Jade once she returns. If it was Tiffany, I'd say sure, but I just don't know, man. Tiffany versus Jade doesn't scream WrestlePalooza. Just doesn't. Just doesn't. Let's light it up. Light it. Heel Rhea Ripley versus, well, I said Rhea. You said Rhea or Rhea. Reah. Heel. I don't know what name you're using, Mackenzie. Tiffany keeps bringing up her being undefeated. People think that's a shot at Jade, but I think that's just setting up for Bianca Belair. Maybe. Like, Jade is in a weird spot, isn't she? In a weird spot. That loss at SummerSlam killed her momentum. Booking her to beat Tiffany at this point feels weird, right? The moment was at SummerSlam. Why did you bother having her lose if the point or the goal was to then have her lose or have her win at WrestlePalooza? What was the point? I don't understand. Make it make sense. Why have her lose at SummerSlam if you're going to win at WrestlePalooza later on? I don't get it. I don't get why you did that. Why prolong the reign if she's just going to lose anyway? Why do that? I don't understand. I agree. Jade should turn heel. I agree with that for sure. If Jade doesn't beat Tiffany in the rematch, she's done. I agree with you. But at the same time, I'm like, why have Jade lose anyway? Like, I don't understand. What did prolonging Tiffany's reign do for Tiffany? What did it do for a storyline? Did nothing. What was the point? What was the point of prolonging her reign? Jade needs that Charlotte feud bad. Jade needs to turn heel. That's what she needs to do. You need Jade as a heel for this to work going forward. I think babyface Jade ain't happening. It just ain't happening, man. It just ain't. Make the switch to heel Jade. You'll be better off going forward. That's just my thought process on it. Yes, her run has not been great. Doesn't help that she's on SmackDown because I'm convinced it'd be better on Raw. Yeah, but Tiffany's reign is she's just champion. She's a champion. I don't feel the weight of the belt. I don't feel the weight of the feuds. Like nothing feels big. It just doesn't feel big. Jade Tiffany doesn't feel big. Tiffany Nia Jax at this point doesn't feel big. Doesn't feel special. Bianca Tiffany does. Tiffany Io kind of does. Tiffany Rhea Ripley, it does. Even Tiffany Stephanie or Tiffany. Here's the thing. Tiffany Lyra feels bigger than Tiffany Jade at this point. It's unbelievable. Like if Tiffany if she stayed on SmackDown and Lyra went to SmackDown, that match feels big. Bigger, at least. Bigger than Jade Tiffany. It's been a shambles. It's been a complete shambles what they've done. That build. Tiffany looks worse off now than she did before winning the belt. Yeah, she was over before. She was already over before winning the belt. So that didn't really change. She's still over. I don't think she's grown any in terms of her status. Not really. Beating Jade in 7 minutes did what for her? Not much. Beating Nia Jax did what for her? Not much. I think she's the same level she was after she cashed in. Really. Same level. Could Xia Brookside win tonight? She could. She could. I'm not sure I want to see that, but she could for sure. Charlotte would have run into the same problem. What problem? Tiffany versus Chelsea. Chelsea would be over that match, by the way. She'd be the fan favorite for the record. But yeah, SmackDown is rough. I don't know how much longer this booking can last and Tiffany be over. Because after a while, they're going to flip. The crowd will flip ultimately if it continues. All right. 10 minutes. 10 more minutes. Any other questions about anything? Let me check Reddit real quick. AJ Lee, man. AJ Lee, I can't believe it. Can't believe AJ Lee is coming back. Yeah, somebody very likable, like a Chelsea Green, like an Io. This Tiffany push feels way forced. It was. I was beating the drum for that a long time ago, and people gave me shit for it. But I said they had no business putting the world title on Tiffany so early. Don't think she was ready. I mean, she's doing fine. I mean, she's holding the belt, but I think it was too early for her at that time. But for some reason, the women can win the belt very early, but the men have to wait. Men, you have to be in your 40s to get the world title. But for the women, right away. Very interesting how that works, right? Carmelo, Braun, Ilya, wait, your turn. Wait for the. You gotta get 40 first. You know, once you hit 40, then you can be world champion. For the women, Tiffany, come on down. Kind of weird. Not sure why they do that. Not sure. Just fast track the NXT talent to the world title. For the women, I don't know why they do that. Bypass the mid card completely, Tiffany. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure. Was the Money in the Bank? I think she won the Money in the Bank before the mid card belts were created. So they're already on the whole crown Tiffany. Tiffany has the look, the star power that they wanted to do. She has that the aesthetic they're going for at the time. That blonde bombshell look. And they thought, you know what? Let's push that to the forefront. So she lucked out. She had the look they were going for at the time. If you think the look doesn't matter, you are very, very naive. Very, very naive, my friend. In fact, the women's world title scene on Smackdown is all about the look. Tiffany and Jade. I'm not saying they're not talented, because Tiffany is awesome in the ring, but the main driving force for those women being pushed as fast as they were, especially Jade, is their look, what you can see with your eyes. Which is why, I guess that's why the women get pushed differently than men, right? That's why that kind of works. Rhea and Bianca got fast tracked too, but it worked with them. It hasn't with Tiffany. Right. So the women get pushed faster than the men, right? Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Different time. People were wanting to see different stars. And I think Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair was the new wave, right? The new wave of talent from NXT that had that more strength and athleticism. They're part of the new wave of women coming up. They talk about it all the time, that new wave. So it's a little different. Like Bianca Belair's athleticism and her strength, and Rhea Ripley's presence and her strength, and her Rhea Ripley's athletic as hell too. You know her dropkick? That girl can fly. They were two special cases, but remember that was under Vince. But yeah, they got pushed fast as well. But it worked out. It worked out for them. Tiffany's push in this era with a talent, again, this is the most stacked roster I've ever seen for the women's division. Little bit different these days. Little bit different. Even Gunther didn't win the belt. Yeah, he had a long ass mid-card run, right? That's what they're gonna do, I think, with Julia, but we'll see how long her run goes. Yeah, Vince was not a fan of EO. Clearly. Same with LA Knight. Clearly. If Vince was still in charge, EO would be in Japan right now. Can you imagine that? He'd be in Japan. No Money in the Bank, no WrestleManias, no EO in the WWE. Completely different landscape. Completely. It'd be crazy to see the difference. Oh, and by the way, there'd be no mommy. No mommy. Because Vince did not love Rhea Ripley. He liked her enough, but he didn't love Rhea Ripley. I can imagine her booking. Like, the entire landscape would be so different. No mommy. No EO, really. Insane how things will look with Vince running it. Probably would have got Bianca Charlotte by now at Mania, though. But yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah, Naomi smokes Tiffany on the mic, but Tiffany is a better performer in the ring. I don't think Tiffany is better in the ring than Naomi. Not yet. Naomi can tell a story in the ring. She can play to the crowd. Tiffany is more athletic, but it's more than athleticism you need. You need to be able to tell a story. You need to be able to lead a match, play heel and face, and do a lot of stuff. I don't think Tiffany's better in ring than Naomi. I don't. I think Naomi at SummerSlam showed how good she is and showed how she can work in the ring. Tiffany's not on that level. She can jump higher. She has more springs than Naomi right now because she's younger and she can move great. But I don't think she's better in the ring than Naomi. Not right now. Yeah, she can spring. She has springs. She had those springs in her legs, sure. But she's not a better worker in the ring than Naomi. Tiffany has a ways to go. She's exciting talent, but she has a ways to go. All right, a few more minutes. Hey, I'm a Tiffany stan. I like Tiffany. I mean, I'm just telling it like it is. I mean, look at this. Who's up there? Tiffany, right? I'm a fan. She's just not there yet. Well, guess what? She's been on the main roster for like what, a year? Yeah, the women's division is beyond amazing right now. It's the most deepest division in all of the world, by far. Considering NXT and main roster all together, it's the most stacked roster in the world, without question. And I say that as someone who watches Stardom, so I can say that with my chest. With my chest, loud and proud. It's the strongest division in the world. Am I forgetting something? Am I forgetting something? Oh, so this might be a hot take. So someone said that they should use Athena and Mercedes Moné to counter Io and Stephanie. And I said, honestly, I don't think they can. Let me be clear. Let me be careful here. Stephanie, Io, Mercedes, Athena, they're all S tier in ring to me. But I believe the combination of Io and Stephanie are capable of more in ring than Athena and Mercedes together, right? I think with everything equal, same producer, same match time, I think that Io and Stephanie are capable of more in ring. They're just capable of more. If I had to rank those four, this would be interesting. Holy shit. If I had to rank in ring, Io, Athena, Stephanie, and Mercedes. Ready for this one? 1, Io. 2, Athena. 3, Stephanie. And 4, Mercedes. Now, to be clear, they're all S tier. It's like comparing different Lamborghinis or different Rolexes. These are all S tier performers. So they're all amazing. If you're forcing me to rank them, if you're forcing me to rank these S tier performers, I'd go Io, Athena, Stephanie, Mercedes. That makes sense? All amazing, all S tier, but that's how to rank it if I had to rank them. That makes sense. What? Rainmaker, Ministry of Dark? You tweeted this, huh? I'm not surprised you tweeted this. Not gonna lie. 2025. Oh yeah, I remember that you added me with this crap. Look how many tweets this freaking engagement farming got. Look how many freaking retweets and likes for this nonsense. 2025 is worse than 2019. You be saying the most stuff online just to get a reaction, my guy. Just to get a reaction. I'm hip to your ways. Don't mess around and get blocked, because you're just engagement farming, my guy. I know you are. I know you're still in here. I know you're still in here. You are just engagement farming like crazy. What is this, my guy? What is this? It never fails. All right, folks. Bro, it's the Uncle Ruckus of Jew. The Uncle Ruckus of Joshi's is Rainmaker. I'm sorry, Ministry of Dark. Like, what is this? What is this? AJ not returning? She is. She is returning. It's obvious. All right, folks. People in IWC have no shame, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's really bad. AJ Lee's coming back is obvious. She'll be there. She'll be there. There's a super show in Australia, huh? I didn't even know that. All right, folks. That's it for the stream. Do me a favor. Hit like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment. And tell me if you believe she's not going to show up. I think it's obvious she is. But tell me if you don't think she's going to show up. Give me your thoughts on the counter programming and how that's going. I don't know why I did that. It is counter programming. Give me your thoughts on that. Do you think it's a big deal? Do you care? Is it much ado about nothing? Let me know. And yeah, have a good day. Enjoy NXT. Enjoy AEW. And on Wednesday, assuming I don't stream. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.